All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. Kai Lavelle once more. Hit that subscribe button, share the video, and respect the knowledge. Whatever. So as we all know, the tech job market is under fire. And the thing to understand about these large organizations are most large organizations in general, not just the tech market, business, whatever, they're going to treat most of their employees like shit. Especially the ones at the beginner to medium tier. The people that get all the respect are usually the executives and higher up roles. Anybody in admin usually, right? So pretty much, a lot of these jobs are not protected by any kind of union. Because most people in admin, they're just workers. It's a lot of ass kissing, micromanagement, and so on. So basically, when you work in the tech sector, a lot of times it's on who likes you and who you're buddy with and what you do outside of the office with. So if you're not spending time with these people outside of the office or just being highly social and telling all your business, you stay to yourself, you're going to be out the door sooner or later. So hopefully you have your own stuff going on. So let's start the video.
Hundreds of thousands of tech workers on the streets. That is the result of massive layoffs and increasing automation in large companies.
Largest number of layoffs in technology so far this year.
As if that weren't enough, a resume builder survey revealed that 70% of recruiters believe it is acceptable to post fake job listings.
Part of the reason that jobs are hard to come by is that a good chunk of postings aren't real.
This may be one of the reasons why.
Yeah, and I covered one of my last tech videos, I covered that about most of the job postings being fake. So no, this market won't recover until they could get a grab on the fake job postings that people are using for AI to put out there.
According to LinkedIn, only 8% of tech job applicants receive an interview response.
John isn't alone. Many people are frustrated by applying to these kinds of jobs that seem to have no intention of hiring anyone.
However, entities such as the Bureau of Labor Statistics project that tech employment will grow by 18% in AI-related areas over the next decade.
And we're starting to see that pick up in Gen AI type jobs.
This combined with a slight.
And keep in mind, there's a lot of perverts that work in these type of jobs. Yes, I said it. If you don't like it, get the fuck off my channel.
But steady recovery in tech job openings leaves us with a question. Will tech job market ever recover?
No.
And if so, under what conditions?
No.
Nearly 500,000. That was the number of open job positions at.
Stop right there. These are the total open jobs at tech startups, tech unicorns, and public tech companies. So basically we could go back to 2020, even though the first year on here says 2022, but to the left there's a little bit more space to go back even before that, which is around 2022, based on how everything is gapped out right here. So it's been pretty stagnant since about last half of 2023. So basically, they're not really recovering.
Their peak in 2022. 3 years later, that number has been cut in half. But if we look closely, it seems that since its lowest point in 2023, there has been a slight and steady recovery over time.
Yeah, but it's not good enough. That's not a lot.
But how did we get here? To understand it, we have to go back a decade. For many, landing a job at a major tech company meant achieving the professional ideal.
Corporate slaves, or should I just say corporate America, blowjobs under the table, free lattes at lunch, and a free gym membership. Life is good.
High salaries, generous benefits, and flexible environments. The hiring boom in the tech sector during the pandemic was monumental, driven by the rise of remote work, digital consumption, and the need for virtual solutions. Tech companies hired staff at unprecedented rates. But
I'll tell you what I like though. I almost went this route back in 2011. The girl I was dating at the time was like, who do you know that are hiring for these jobs? I'm like, huh, what do you mean? Because see, at the time, I was doing security at a hospital. And since then, I worked my way through healthcare, and I'm still doing healthcare now. I'm a unit coordinator, and that's how that goes.
But that expansionary cycle turned out to be unsustainable. Since 2023, that promise has started to fade. Waves of massive layoffs, a drastic decline in new hires.
And let me throw in there that COVID, the shutdown, didn't help none of this. So that plays a key factor in this as well. And as these tech companies make more money, just like any other large organization, the more money they make, the more they want to cut down their staff and treat their employees like shit, because they're always looking for ways to cut back and save money. So they don't care about taking away resources.
Increasing automation and the frustrating lack of response to applicants have transformed what used to be a vibrant job market into uncertain terrain.
800 executives surveyed, nearly half of them noted that their use of automation had accelerated moderately, and about 20% of them reported significantly increasing automation.
Starting in 2023, companies like Amazon, Meta, and Google began laying off employees en masse, citing strategic restructurings or operational adjustments.
Yeah, and while we're talking about this, understand when you fill out job applications, which are most likely online now, right? They transitioned onto online job applying because it's like a kiosk. So basically, they don't have to waste time going through applications. They heavily rely on AI to screen applicants. And depending on certain terms and words that you put in your job application, that's what get you job interviews or get you rejected. It's the key word you use on the application, so it screens for that. So the best way to get in is either to know somebody or you know which keywords to put on your resume to get your resume pulled in. So the thing about that is they're probably pulling in more fake employees, AI generated employees, than they are real people wanting a job. So they're giving these remote jobs to people that don't even exist. And they're forking over money at the same time. It's pretty crazy.
That year, more than 260,000 tech jobs were eliminated globally. The
Damn.
trend continued in 2024, with over 150,000 additional layoffs. And by 2025, more than 25,000 have already been recorded. Most of these cuts were concentrated in administrative positions, mid-level software engineering, and middle management roles. In some cases, companies laid off workers just months after hiring them, revealing a disconnect between planning departments and human resources.
Like I said, you have to be a professional ass kisser to keep your job. If you're just trying to go to work and go home and stay out the way and not, yeah, you're not going to be at these jobs that long. If that's your goal, if you think you're just going to go work for these companies for 7-8 hours a day and go home, not going to work.
At the same time, the volume of new job openings dropped drastically. According to the Ravio Tech Jobs Report, job listings for software developers in the U.S. decreased by more than 70% between 2023 and 2025. This contraction is not limited to the United States. In the United Kingdom, for example, entry-level tech roles declined by over 30% during the same period. Unemployment among IT professionals, which used to be below the national average, now exceeds it. In May 2025, it reached 5.5%, a significant figure in a sector that historically experienced full employment.
You want to know something funny? None of this news is preventing anybody from still going to school to get these degrees to work in these jobs. So not only are you not promised a job in these companies with that college degree, it's not always what you know, it's who you know too. Because I bet you half of the people that actually do get these jobs don't even have the correct degree or job experience alone. They knew somebody that had a supervisory role in the company and they're like, hey, I have a friend, he's great, this and that. That's how you get in. It's all about being professional, consistent, and being friends with people outside of the organization. That's how a lot of these people get hired. It's not just the college degree alone, because nobody knows who you are with this college degree. But yet, let's say you're with your family at a high-end restaurant and there was a corporate event there a few tables down in the grand ballroom. I don't know. I'm just using that as an excuse. So you see somebody a few tables away that you know that's in that corporate group. And you walk over there, you start talking, Be like, hey, have you met my friend? This is my friend right here. We've been friends for the last 15 years. We went to college together, da da da. Next thing you know, some of the corporate heads that they're with, they might take an interest in your character. They'd be like, well, what does he do? Is he working for anybody? Hey, we could use a person like that on the team. And history is made right there.
Talked a lot about how robotics and automation have replaced some of the low-skilled jobs in the market, but could artificial intelligence now be looking to replace some of the coders?
Beyond the numbers, what discourages tech professionals most is not only the scarcity of positions, but the deteriorating quality of hiring processes. To this, we must add a phenomenon that worsens the problem: the publication of fake job postings, practices that distort the perception of demand and increase the frustration of job seekers.
And I'm assuming these fake job postings are mostly for people in the tech sector, because let's use healthcare and transportation, for example. I don't hear about fake job postings for those, but I'm sure that exists too, because healthcare organizations, especially the large ones, they rely heavily on AI and automation as well. Who do you think sending out those rejection emails? That's automation. The managers aren't sending that shit out. That's not HR doing that. That's automation. And they've been using automation for a long time, for over 15 years. So it's nothing new. People think that AI is just something that just came out. No, AI has been around for a few decades. It's just advancing, but it'll never be 100% to perfection.
This phenomenon is known as corporate ghosting, where companies simply do not respond to applications, even after interviews. In
It's not real. They can't respond to something that ain't real.
2024, the conversion rate from applications to interviews fell from 12% to 8%. This means that fewer than 1 in 12 people applying for a position even receive a call. Moreover, the average time to find a tech job in the United States rose from 3 months to more than 5.
I mean, shit, it was hard to get job interviews back in 2010, let alone 2008. Because even before 2010, most jobs you had to apply for online. So I'll say I remember doing paper applications all the way up till I was about 19 or 20. After that, yeah, I'm 37 now. So that's how long job applications have been online. It saves time and it saves money and it saves the environment, because that's less paper they have to print out. Less paper, they don't have to have a stack on their desk to go through applications, because it's 300 to 500 people applying for the same job. And they're probably only going to interview like the first 15 to 30 people that applied for it. It's an algorithm. And that's what I learned on my job searches at an early age. They only screen 15 at a time. And if they like somebody, they'll do a few rounds of 15 people, and if they find somebody they actually like, then they'll get the job. And depending on what you say during the interview, you might get hired on the spot.
These delays are not only due to competition, but also because many companies keep job postings open without any intention of filling them. This behavior has had a devastating effect on the mental health of applicants. Platforms like LinkedIn and Reddit are full of testimonies from people who have submitted hundreds of applications without receiving a single reply. Experienced engineers with certifications and relevant projects completely ignored. Even after passing several interview rounds, it's common for communication to be abruptly cut off without explanation.
Bullshit.
This phenomenon is closely tied to a quietly growing practice: the publication of ghost jobs.
More people looking for work these days are noticing an increase in what are known as ghost jobs being posted online, where they're posted, but the jobs themselves don't actually exist.
These are listings that appear on platforms like LinkedIn, Indeed, or Glassdoor, but are not intended to fill a real hiring need. Some are created to appear as growth to investors, others to collect resumes and expand databases.
You hear that? They're trying to make profits from investors. So just because you see that new job posting, that doesn't mean it's an actual job or a position that they want to fill. Quite interesting how the way these things work.
And others to have candidates on reserve in case of potential departures. In 2025, it is estimated that at least 40% of companies posted a fake job listing in the past year. And in the case of tech companies, that figure rises to over 55%. What's
Damn.
worse is that many of these listings even advance to interview stages, despite there being no active vacancy behind the process. According to Resume Builder, up to 70% of recruiters consider this practice morally acceptable. It is justified as a business strategy tool, without regard for the damage it causes to thousands of people genuinely seeking employment. But despite this bleak outlook, there are signs of life in certain areas of the tech job market.
You've heard the AI warnings.
Every technological revolution affects the job market.
AI could cost some humans their jobs in the near future.
But AI is also creating some new jobs.
But these signs do not point to a broad recovery. Rather, they suggest a reconfiguration of job profiles. Artificial intelligence is at the heart of this transformation. Although it is often portrayed as the cause of unemployment, the truth is that it is generating new demand for very specific profiles. Roles such as machine learning engineers, data architects, AI scientists, and cloud computing specialists are growing, even as traditional software and general IT jobs shrink. Projections from the U.S. Department of Labor anticipate that tech jobs will grow by 18% over the next decade, rising from 6.
I just can't imagine getting one of these jobs, moving into a brand new place, a brand new car and everything, and then weeks later they tell you they don't need you anymore in a Zoom call, and then they laugh about it in a conference. I'm surprised more and more people don't retaliate and go after the tech executives. Like literally just walk into the building and just execute.
6 million in 2024 to over 7 million by 2034. This translates into more than 350,000 new positions each year. But they won't be the same jobs that existed before. There will be fewer tech support roles and greater demand for expertise in cybersecurity, automation, cloud platforms, and data analysis. This transition also involves a shift in educational and experience requirements. Companies are beginning to value practical certifications in specific technologies over traditional university degrees. One of the groups most affected by this reconfiguration are young professionals and those seeking their first job.
Keyword, young professionals. See, the good thing about these young professionals losing their jobs, a lot of them still live at home, family, or roommates. So it's not like they're going to be homeless once they do lose their jobs, because a lot of times they're living with other people and they're not supporting themselves 100% by themselves. So that's the only positive outcome I can say about this, because a lot of them know that they're taking jobs that are not really stable. And another thing is people that partake in these type of job markets, they don't plan to be there long term anywhere. They'll only have the position for like a year and then they'll search for something else. They're just every 6 months to 2 years, they have another job. So it's like, whatever.
Data shows that recent college and high school graduates face a tough road ahead. According to the Labor Department, the national unemployment rate for those new job seekers is nearly 7%, about the highest level in a decade.
In markets such as the US and the UK, job offers for recent graduates have dropped between 30% and 40% over the past 2 years. This has created a kind of bottleneck. Thousands of highly skilled graduates who can't enter the formal market and are beginning to look for opportunities in sectors less related to their training. Added to this is the situation of migrant workers, especially in countries with employment-linked visas like the US. The elimination of positions has left many in irregular status or forced them to leave the country. It is estimated that more than 10,000 engineers on H-1B visas lost their jobs in 2023, and many of them have yet to find new placements. The tech job market is not dead, but it is changing so profoundly that many of its old patterns no longer serve as guidance.
So as you can imagine, a lot of uncertainty for tech workers, particularly ones who depend on their jobs.
The era of mass hiring, colorful offices, and extravagant perks is over. The recovery, if it comes, will be partial and selective.
If it comes. Keyword, if. So even they don't know. Boy. The job market's just a hot mess right now for anybody. It's pretty much in any type of job market, not just tech. Tech is just the face of these issues. But it's hard to get a job in general, let alone one that could actually pay all the bills without you having to work 2 or 3 other jobs just to make ends meet. Oh, I know. Be a content creator. But the thing about a content creator is once you peak, you're going to end up going down. Because let's say you're good. You make good money on YouTube for a year, but then all it takes, the more your platform grows, the more people aren't going to like you, and at some point you're going to hit a dip. So that's not really guaranteed either.
Some roles will disappear forever, others will emerge strongly. Recovering the tech job market does not mean returning to 2021 hiring numbers. It means rethinking how, who, and under what conditions companies hire. Technology is not disappearing, but it is becoming more selective, more automated, and more specialized.
I mean, that's just like any other job. They're going to look for ways to do cutbacks, restructure, and rebuild, and then eventually create new job opportunities, and then you apply for those. But who's going to get those jobs? Is it going to pay a living wage? A lot of these jobs don't pay enough. These jobs pay between $50,000 to $60,000 a year, which is nothing. You're going to need at least $80,000 to $90,000 alone. This is Kyle Vale. I hope you learned something. Shout out to Economy Media. Peace.